Hi everyone, this is Crash Me Twice, and today we're taking a closer look at the inner workings of the WINWING Orion2 Throttle Base. First they're going to disassemble, take the grip off. We tested it, everything is working, and now we're going to take it back apart because I want to look inside. And the grip is off. Put that aside. Let's take that rail off. And then we can just slide that one out and put it aside. Now we're left with the box. Alright, now we're gonna see here there's a billion bolts and nuts. This is the first time I'm taking this apart, so I'm just gonna, well, get on it and get all the bolts out. So I'm gonna start obviously with all the bolts which go through, so these, and I would assume that I have to open all those off too. So let's get started on those. I'm gonna get me a little tiny bin where I can put them all in, so they'll roll around on my desk. I'm sure they're using pretty much all the same bolts for everything. Okay, so all the screws are out now from the bottom, as you can see. Let's turn it around, see if anything goes, and yes it does. So that's all what's needed. And here's the inside of the plastic casing, and here's everything else. Let's take a good look. This is very nice. This is a very nice cast. I can see they also added here some hot glue to keep those all in place. And this is obviously, these are the tension screws so that they don't turn. They hot glue them, and they also used lock nuts. In a matter of fact, they used lock nuts everywhere, which is really nice to see. So that's how this whole system looks here. Really nice. I like it. Even though the casing is plastic, I mean, there's so many modern devices now that just use plastic. There's nothing wrong with it, really. I mean, I do prefer a metal box, but that's a pretty good plastic here. It's not the flimsiest, it's not the greatest, but I have certainly seen worse. All the levers, they are metal. These things here are plastic, so I wish they would be metal, but sometimes, you know, it is what it is. But often, you know, you can't use anything else but aluminum or plastic, depending which kind of sensors are in there. I know these are Hall sensors. So, but I also can see here, which is a really nice thing. You can see here it's just a zip tie to hold this in place, right? There's a zip tie which kind of goes around that little cable. What you call that there? Well, just something that holds the cable, or clamps the cable, so called a cable clamp maybe, or well, I don't know the English word for it, so here you go. This is in here, and then this is held together with a zip tie, and that's perfectly fine. There's some extra material here, so if you need to make it longer, you obviously can. And it's very easy if there's a problem with that cable. I mean, for me at least, there's a couple like the mini JST connectors or whatever they call them. And so, you know, that cable is replaceable. So it's not like all lost. You don't have to ship it back to China just to fix the cable, which is nice. This here also has a little gap, which could be a little you know, which could go together a little bit longer if needed, but this one doesn't bind at all, so we don't have a problem on that. Okay, so I also got another bin here, and I'm using that little plastic piece here from my fix-it kit, because before we can even loosen up all those other bolts, I want to make sure all our knobs are off. Now these switches, they do not have any nuts on them. They're just pulled right through and sunk into the plastic there. So you can see it on this side. If I pull on it, the switch moves. I don't know if you can see this on the video, but the switch will move with it. So we know there's no nut in there that's not threaded into the plastic. That just sit in there. Same for those buttons. They will come out. Let's just remove those here. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna go underneath of it, like so. I'm just gonna pull up. Bam. Here it is. So now, take those nuts off and see what's going on here. So let's take those puppies off, and then we go from there. And I better get another bin for those. Just a good thing I'm drinking so much coffee, I wouldn't have all those bins. And we're gonna put all our little nuts in here, just as we go along. Let's take those off. Okay, so we got this here. And that should do it, because there's no more screws and no more bolts, so there's nothing that should hold that still in place. Well, turns out these red buttons do have to come out. So let's take them out. There's one, two. This one does not want to cooperate. Alright, we got them out. And here we are. You don't have to disconnect anything, I just want to check it out. So we're just going to put it like this. Let's see what we got here. Here's the board. Let's see if you can tell what kind of switches these are. I think they're just standard micro switches. YP, I can read on them. So yeah, nothing too wild here. So if you have a bad encoder, or if you have a bad part, or if you have a bad switch, this stuff is definitely replaceable. Even if you don't have any experience in electronics, you can definitely find somebody who can replace a switch like that. So if you have a bad switch, you can just purchase a switch, what you need, and give it to the guy and say, come on, solder it in for me. Because it's all pretty simple. It's all through solder, which is kind of nice. If you look on the back here, that's all soldered through, so there's very, very few SMD parts which need to be worried about. If an LED burns out, these are SMD, so you will have to replace those. But other than that, I mean, the whole board looks nice. I would say it's a good design. I think they didn't waste a lot of space. I mean, I personally wish that would be all modular, but even so it is not. I don't have a problem with this PCB here. Alright, so now you have seen it. Now I'm going to take a few pictures just for my website and for me. And then we put it all back together, retest it, make sure it all works, and we're rocking and rolling here. So it's I think it's a very good system. I like it. I have no problems with it. Here we go. Well, yeah, I just wanted to add something here while I'm assembling it. It's clearly marked, it's almost foolproof here. You can see here we have a round hole which has a circle around it. On the next one we have a nut, so a hexagonal shape around it. wherever those hexagonal shapes are, this is where the shorter screws go, or where standoffs are. So the holes indicate this is a screw which goes all the way through to the casing. The ones marked with a nut on it, these are internal fasteners. So it's pretty easy to assemble, actually, if you think about it. They did a good job of indicating this on the PCB. This is internal, that, and that. So you get the picture. It's not very, very complicated. So I really appreciate that, to indicate where the standoffs go and where pass-through is for the longer bolts. Okay, so let's finish this up. Okay, I got all the screws back in. These two are not used. They're probably for that throttle detent, but because we have the wiper grip, we don't have the detent here in the center, we have the detent on the rail. So now the only thing left to do is put the buttons back on, which is fairly easy because these buttons have a flat area in them, right here. So any part in here, the encoder or whatever switch, has a flat area here, and so it's fairly easy to arrange those. You don't have to mark them beforehand or anything, just put them on, press down, done. They only go in place in one way, so the arrow is in the opposite part of the flat part. Alright, now we have 3 red buttons left. 1, and they're just on the inside round. There's no square or anything to worry about it. Those are round. The shafts from the buttons are round. That's round, so there's no orientation to it. You can push them on wherever you want them. And you feel when they go in place. I don't know if the microphone will pick that up, but I'm gonna hold it very close to the microphone and you can hear when the button starts. So I'm gonna put the button on right now. Now I'm pressing down. Do you hear that little tiny lower noise? That was when the button is all the way in, because you're actually pushing the air out, and that's what makes that noise. Okay, so over here everything is assembled. We took a look inside, we like what we saw, and that's it for today. Next time we're gonna go back to our 4th term project, and that video is coming soon. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss it. Don't forget to check out my Discord channel and visit my website at crashmetwice.com for more info on this and other projects. If you would like to support this channel, you can buy me a nice cup of coffee from the link below or on my website. Hope you all enjoyed this video and hope I earned a like from you. Crash Me Twice, out.